I told him I'd be honored to do it for him. So this is an official statement from the families of Continental Flight 3407. On behalf of the families of Continental Flight 3407, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to all the agencies who have worked so hard and in such a professional way during our time of grief. The respect you have given to us, our families, and especially the respect and dignity you are giving to our loved ones who were aboard Continental Flight 3407 is valued and appreciated by all of us. I would like to go through some final notes, and I say final notes, this will be my final press briefing with you. My stay here will end tonight. Actually, tomorrow I'm flying out back to Washington, and so I'll give you my final notes. We will then go over the process from here as far as press contact and so forth. Keith Holloway, Public Affairs from the National Transportation Safety Board, will come up following me and give you an idea of phone numbers and so forth and how we can get the information to you as quickly as we can. We had a progress meeting last night at 6:30. It was about a 2-hour meeting, and all the group chairmen came in and briefed their different areas of expertise, and that's a lot of these notes that I'm going to read, and there's just a lot of bullets and new information, but not a lot of new earth-shaking information, but it's all factual, objective information gained from the scene. We've received the flight release, which is the flight plan that the flight crew had before they departed. It's a 30-page document that the flight crew had, which had NOTAMs and weather information and all of that for their flight. So we have that in, and that's being analyzed as we speak. Several people have asked me about ice on the tail and tail issues. And one of the investigators told me today, I was talking to him about it to try to get an idea of that, and they said if there's ice on the wings, there's ice on the tail. And now the significance of that is still to be determined. But they just wanted to, I wanted to answer that because somebody asked me, did we know if there was ice on the tail? And I, so my statement is if there's ice on the wing, there's ice on the tail, and that comes from one of the investigators at the NTSB. The Dash 8 is, this Dash 8 Q400 is not susceptible to tail stall, to kind of answer a question that came from last night. That's a generalized statement, but that's, that comes from Bombardier and a lot of engineering data that it's not susceptible to tail stall. A little more on the information on the captain and the first officer. The captain was from Tampa, Florida, and had commuted into Newark, which was their crew base. And the first officer was from Seattle, Washington, and had commuted in and was flying out of Newark, her crew base. At the scene, the aircraft itself has been about 50% evacuated from the crash site. It's in, we're putting it in bins and on trailers and getting it prepared to move to other locations. The orientation of the main wreckage, I've been saying northeast. The FBI has given us some documentation on that. 070 degrees magnetic is the heading that the airplane lay. The goal is to have everything off the site by Wednesday afternoon. I've mentioned the snowstorm that's coming into the Buffalo area, so it is our goal to have the accident site cleaned up and then in the progress of moving it to the location still yet to be determined. The report of icing by the flight crew that they got as they checked in on ATC frequencies was that icing existed between 4,000 feet and 2,500 feet MSL. And that kind of goes along with what we've heard on cockpit voice recordings. We've found 5 out of the 6 de-icing valves, and I say that because there's been discussion before in here on how did we know whether the icing system worked. We knew it was activated, and I've got a little bit more information on that because we have recovered 5 of 6 de-icing valves. We have good boots on the tail, both vertical and horizontal. We'll be able to examine those boots in the future to determine whether or not they were working. We've found, the control columns and the yokes that steer the airplane. We've got all of that. It's been evacuated. Somebody asked me the gross weight of the airplane at the time of the accident, and we've done calculations on how much fuel burn and so forth from takeoff. And the gross weight of the airplane prior to the upset was 55,000 pounds. And before I go any further, I got another page over here, and I'm going to cover it up if I don't cover it now. There was questions on whether subsequent flights to 3407 came into Buffalo that night, and 27 minutes after the departure of the accident flight, another Continental Express or Continental Connection Colgan airline flight from Newark to Buffalo departed. It was 27 minutes after, and it came in, experienced the same icing conditions, 4,000 feet to 2,500 feet, moderate icing, and it made it to destination in Buffalo. The engines, number 1 and 2 engines, I had reported to you before that we had found 4 blades on one engine and 6 on the other. We have now found all 6 blades. They're all present and accounted for at the site, and so they made it to the ground with the airplane. And everything that's found thus far in the engine examination is consistent with high-powered flight. They look at a lot of things as to how it entered the ground, how much it dug itself in, the angles of the blades. There's a lot of things that they look at, and this is all from the inspection still while on site. I just found out not more than 10 minutes ago that they've now got the engines up and on the road, and they're doing further inspection on that, and they'll have them on the truck and ready to go out of here tomorrow. We've talked a lot about weather, and I've told you what we know so far. One of the things that we're doing, the weather investigators are preparing questionnaires and sending them to every pilot that had flown in this vicinity that night. We want to ask them what icing they experienced, what flight conditions they experienced, and so forth. So we're putting out these questionnaires. We're putting them out to dispatchers. We're going to go out and start doing interviews of the accident dispatcher and other folks involved with this. And this is, again, a process that's going to take place over the next several weeks. The report on weather, while we're talking about that, we have 80%, it was a probability of 80% of icing from the surface to 8,000 feet that night. And they were talking light to moderate icing in that probability. There was one PIREP well south of here. PIREP, again, is a pilot report from another airplane and what they experienced, and they relay that to air traffic control. Air traffic control then documents it and relates it back to other pilots that are going to use the airspace. And that one PIREP was located near Dunkirk, which is well south of Buffalo, and it was for severe ice. That's the